So we have a way of getting our IDs, of getting our buttons and our text in our main activity as I previously showed you. Very good. So the idea here again, like I said before, is to get this show name button active so that when we click, we actually show something down here. Well, to do that, we need to hook this show name into an event listener. So how to do that? Well, I can come below our my button because it has to be after we have instantiated our button, meaning we have actually created our button, right? We have added the ID, we have grabbed the ID and put in our my button here, okay? So now I'm going to say my button dot set on, like that, click listener. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go ahead and say enter like that. I'm going to pass on click listener like that. Okay, that was a lot of code, boilerplate code. So don't worry about any of this. Okay, so I'm going to try again. Let's do this once again because I want to make sure we understand. So I say my button, say dot set on click listener. The moment you have like that, just hit enter. And then inside here, say new on click listener. The first thing you see there, view on click listener, hit enter, and voila. You don't have to type all of that stuff. So what this is doing is we are saying, okay, we have the button and we're going to attach it on click listener, which means this will allow the button to be listening for taps when user taps. So something's going to happen. So if user tap, what we're going to happen is this on click method or function is going to be called, which means anything that is inside here will run. So at this point here, if I go ahead and copy this, in fact, get rid of that and put inside here, show text, right? We should be able to see something amazing happen. So I'm going to go ahead and click that button there. And notice now it's all clear because now we are not adding anything to the text view as earlier because we put inside here. Only when we click show name that we will see this hello, I'm here. Let's give it a try. Click and hello, I'm here is showing. Very good. So now we've done a lot here. So we created our button and our text, which are connected to what? To our user interface here that we created earlier, right? Very good. So then with that, we're able to set on click listener to our button because that's what buttons are supposed to do. And then we say when a click is detected from our button, we want to set the text to our show text, which is this element that we added here earlier. To what? To say, hello, I'm here. That's why you're able to see, hello, I'm here. Very good. Now, this is wonderful. As you can see, we can come here and change to something else. Hello, this is fun. Save. Let's do a quick reload there. Apply change. Okay, so hello, this is fun. So we can come down here and change the text we want to see, and that will also be reflected when we click the show name button. But obviously this is not very fun because that implies that every time we want to see something different, we have to come to our code and write whatever we want to see. That's not great. And also on top of that, we can see that we don't have this custom way in which we can actually show something that has been entered at the top here. So what we need to do is add some sort of a field where users can enter text so that when say show, we're going to grab that text and show it here. Okay, to show a name or whatever text that was added. To do that, well, let's go back to our main XML here because this is where our user interface, as we said before, is. So to do that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a plain text. So what this plain text is, it allows us to add text ourselves. So if I drag and put it right about there, look at that. That looks wonderful. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to constrain this one to the top and move it down here because I want this to be close. And remember, we have this top constraint, right? I'm going to delete that. And instead, I'm going to constrain it to be at the bottom of this username like that. So I can move things around. And you notice everything now moves around because everything is connected to each other. So if I move this, notice that everything moved as well. So if I move this a little bit down, everything moves along because our text view is of course constrained with our show name, and show name is constrained with our name as well. Okay, very good. So there we go. So our name here, I can go ahead and do the same we did before. I'm going to just constrain to the right as well as to the left, and I can also use this. If I hover over in the corners, I can make this larger if I want to do so, like that. I can do the same with our button, right? I can do like this, and make it as large as I possibly can or want. Okay, very good. I can do the same with anything really, but at this point here, I'm just going to leave the text view as it is. So very good. So now we have our text name here, or I should say our edit text, as this widget is called in Android Studio, because it allows us to edit a text from user input. Now we can do all sort of things. So if you double click here, notice now we have this attribute that we can change. So the text that is showing here, we can just get rid of it, or I can just say something like enter name. Like that. If you save, it's going to say enter name to let users know you're supposed to enter name there. There's other attributes we can change, and we'll see that at a later time. Okay, very good. So now if I go ahead and save this and do that quick run there, and come down here, it's going to go ahead and reload everything. And now voila, you can see enter name. Very good. So the show name still works because we haven't changed anything, right? But it doesn't show whatever it's entered here. So what I'm going to do now is going back here in our user interface, and of course we're going to change the ID. We can leave it as it is. In fact, we're just going to leave it as it is right now, because since it's a very simple application, we don't need to customize this. We're going to just use as it is. But as you will see later, we probably going to be better off creating our own IDs that make more sense. Very good. So now we're going to do the same thing as we did with show name button and the text view in our main. So we need to grab those. So at the top here as member variables, I'm going to go ahead and say private. I'm going to say edit text. I'm going to call this enter name. I'm going to do the same private, and there we go. So now we have edit text enter name, and I'm going to instantiate it right about here. I'm going to say enter name is equal to what? Find view by ID like that. r.id.edit text. Why edit text again? Because we said this is the ID for our edit text. There we go. So now we have a handle for our edit text. Now, how do we grab whatever we get from our edit text? Well, very simply, we can come just inside, because we want to grab all of that once users have clicked this button, right? Once they click this button, we want to get whatever it's inside here and append or add to our text here. So there is a method that we can do that with. I can come down here and create a variable, cell string, because it's string type. Again, don't worry about it if you don't understand what a string is. Just think of a little bucket that we're creating that will contain strings like text, okay? I'm going to say name is equal to what? Well, I'm going to then get our enter name, which is this, right? And we're going to extract whatever it's inside of it. So I'm going to say enter name dot get text. I'm going to say to string, just to make sure that whatever is coming in is indeed string. Okay, very good. So now we've said whatever is inside of our edit text, it's going to be in this name variable string. So now I can use it, this name, inside here. So I can change a few things here. Say hello. I'm going to concatenate, add a plus, saying we're going to put together this hello and whatever we're getting for name. So I'm going to say name like that. Save and apply changes there. It's going to go ahead and update everything. And I'm going to get rid of all of this. Let's say Paul. Get rid of that. Show name. Hello, Paul. If I say Paulo instead, show hello, Paulo. Say Nelson. Hello, Paulo Nelson. Very cool, isn't it? So now we were able to attach not only our text view, right? Now we made this more customizable, meaning whatever you enter here and hit enter, or show name in this case, it will be appended and shown at the bottom here. And we can change the size of this text as well. So if we come to our main activity here, click here, right? Make sure we're clicking on the item that we want. It's going to be hard because it is actually an item that we got rid of. And the other way to select this item here is coming to our component tree here, because it has all of the components that we added on the screen. Let's see, we want this AB text. There we go. So now it is indeed selected. And we can come down here and say view all attributes. And I can also search there and say size and come down to text size and click right there. And there are some default. Let's make it a little bit bigger, say 18 SP. If you save this and rerun again, I'm going to go ahead and see it's a little bit bigger. All right, very good, very good. So you've built your first Android application. And I know, as I said before, this may not make a lot of sense, but as long as you followed along and you were able to see what I was able to show you here, right, on your own, as long as you're able to click on show name and show actually the items or the text that you've entered here, then you are winning. This is wonderful. The rest we will learn in deeper details at a later time. I just want to get you going here, get you excited and starting putting together a very simple Android Studio application. All right. Very good. So what I want you to do, because in the next videos, we are going to continue learning basically about Java, okay? But what I want you to do now is, before you go to the next video, is I want you to play around with these concepts. So now you have a very little concept of Android Studio and how to build a very simplistic application. Even though you may not understand everything, how about changing things around here? Maybe you can figure out how to change the color of this button. Hint, hint, you can double click here and go to, for instance, style of the button. You can go around and click around here and see the changes that will appear to the left here. Okay, so play around with this. Nothing will get broken here. Change the show name to something else. Just play with this concept because that's how we actually learn stuff. But nevertheless, congratulations on your first Android application, and I hope this gets you excited to keep learning about Android. All right, I'll see you next.